Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Daria, and today's class is called Let It Simmer. I think often we have the urge when we encounter a problem or any kind of resistance to try to fix it right away, to ask why and to be really overly analytical about the situation. At least that is my tendency. And so today's practice is about doing the opposite, is about letting go of control and allowing things to process and simmer in this more natural way. It's a gentler and slower form of opening the body and opening the mind. So all that you'll need for this class is yourself and someplace to move. And whenever you're ready, let's get into it. We'll start right here in Sukhasana. So find your way here. Let your sitting bones really anchor deeply to the earth so that your pelvis gets heavy. You can even take your hands onto your waistline and just kind of gently press down, massage your hips open, and then let your knees surrender to gravity. The palms can face either up or down on the thighs. And then as much as you settle down into your seat, feel the opposite effect, a lengthening effect, up through your spine, as though the very top, the very tip of the crown of your head is being pulled up toward the clouds. And then take a second to soften into your skin. Allow anything that happened in your day so far to melt away, and anything that requires your attention later on to be put aside for now. And for this moment, for this practice, try to focus your awareness deeply into your physical sensations. Simmer in your sensations. Take a moment to scan through your body and check for anywhere that's feeling tense. And then notice if your urge is to question why that's feeling tense or to try to fix it right away. And instead, see if you can just start to deepen your breath slightly and allow it to be as it is. And let the breath gently spread through those points of tension. Notice just the effects of that allowance. And that allowing something to be helps us to relax into it. Take a big inhale through your nose, fill all the way up. Big sigh out of your mouth. Let it be a sweet sigh, nice and easy with the jaw relaxed. Again, like that. Inhale, fill up from bottom to top. Open mouth, exhale, sigh. And now start to gradually fade in Ujjayi breath. The breath can start softly and let it build in intensity throughout your practice to match the intensity of your physical expressions. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Take one more moment here just to feel. Blink your eyes open and come on up to tabletop. All fours, hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide, root into all four corners of your palms, and take a moment just to really feel your handprints imprinting into the space beneath you. As you breathe in, soften the low belly, lift your tailbone, spread your sitting bones, and then begin to arc your heart forward to the top of the mat as you reach your eyes to the sky, cow pose. As you exhale, swallow your inner thighs toward each other like they're magnetized, and then begin to contract your core so that you can round your spine, creating more space between all your vertebrae, lifting the back of your heart up toward the sky. Inhale. Create the curves into the low back, then the middle back, then the upper back. Pull your hands a little bit back towards your thighs and roll your shoulders down your back. And exhale, round and curl. Press the earth away from you. Cow pose or cat pose. Again, breathe in, cow, lift the heart, lift the eyes. Breathe out, round and curl. One more time right here, riding your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Neutralize your spine. Take your right knee and step it behind the left, so you're crossing at the knees, and then widen your feet. Start to shift your pelvis a little bit back and a little bit forward, massaging into your hips, particularly the outer left hip. Try to stay fluid in your spine, and if you'd rather make circles, you can do that instead. Keep a little micro bend in your elbows and keep clawing down into all 10 finger pads. Unthread your legs, right knee steps back down, and then cross the left knee behind the right. Widen your feet away from each other and start to shift the hips a little bit back, a little bit forward. And let this be gentle, not forcing anything or introducing any kind of artificial opening because of how deep you think you should go or how deep you think the sensation should feel. Let it stay sweet. Unthread your legs, come back to tabletop, plant your palms down, tuck your toes behind you, float your knees an inch away from the mat, take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, so slowly lift your hips up high to the sky. Keep the knees deeply bent as you transition back to downward facing dog. And then finally, the legs can stretch toward straight as your heels pull down toward the mat. Or maybe your knees stay a little bit more bent. This helps to prioritize length in the spine, particularly if you're feeling a little tight into the hamstrings today. So listen to what you need from the inside out. It's coming from the body rather than the mind. And make any little movements that feel organic and natural in downward facing dog. Allow the breath to gently simmer up and down your spine. With every inhalation, it's like your spine is crawling toward more length. The tailbone is reaching for the sky. The crown of the head is stretching forward. And then with every exhale, anchor more deeply through the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet, all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. On your next inhalation, lift your heels, round forward, high plank. As you exhale, slowly lower your knees to the mat for a count of 5, 4, feel your core active, 3, 2, and 1. Gently place the knees down as they touch. Inhale, arc your spine like a cow shape. Tailbone lifts, heart lifts. As you exhale, shift forward. Bend your elbows toward your ribs and relax your heart and your chin to the mat. The hips stay high. Now here, see if you can soften the hip creases and let your heart burrow deeply to the space beneath you. Good. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of your feet down. Then pull your tailbone down toward the backs of your knees and create a ripple through your spine all the way forward to a cobra. The tops of the thighs stay down. Lift your low belly and slide your shoulders away from your ears. If you're feeling crunching in the low back, release down a bit lower. One more breath. And then exhale, lower your heart all the way to the mat. Palms beside the ribs. Come on up through hands and knees, and then press your way back to downward facing dog. Just waking up the spine, waking up the body, finding little activations, and building into these little simmery bubbles of sensation and of heat. Inhale, lift your heels, round forward, high plank. Exhale, the knees lower for 5, 4, contract the core, 3, 2, 1, once the knees touch, breathe in, soften the front body, contract the back body, look up. Exhale, shift forward, elbows bend, lower your heart and your chin to the mat. Untuck your toes, ripple all the way forward. 2, cobra, shoulder blades squeeze at the back of your heart, toenails press down. And exhale, lower your heart and your chin to the mat. Plant your palms beside your ribs. You can either come through hands and knees or tuck your toes. Press all the way up to high plank. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Inhale, lift your heels, round forward, high plank. Exhale, slow lower the knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Once they touch down, inhale, pull your hands back towards your thighs, arc your heart forward, and exhale, bend the elbows, sink your heart and your chin. Untuck your toes, inhale, roll through the spine, up to cobra, lift the heart. Exhale, release your heart to the mat. Palms beside the ribs, tuck your toes. Either press through hands and knees or straight up to plank. Once you get to the plank, inhale and exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in through your nose and a breath out through your nose. One more time, inhale. Exhale, dig down into big toes and pinky toes. Root your left foot on your next inhale. Reach your right leg high to the sky, 3-legged down dog. As you exhale, make a big circle externally with the right leg and step your right foot outside of your pinky finger, coming to a wide lunge with both hands inside of your foot. Come on up to your fingertips and start to make some circles into the hips. Go first in one direction and then reverse the circles. Keep a little bit of pulling together of right foot toward left foot. Good. Press your left palm down into the mat. Take a breath in and reach your right fingertips all the way up high toward the sky. Then squeeze your shoulder blades together. Peel your right shoulder more open, cactus your elbow, and start to revolve your heart up toward the sky. Keep drawing outer right hip back, left hip a bit forward, and plug both big toe mounds deeply into the earth. One more big breath right here. As you exhale, bring your right palm back down to the mat. Pivot so that you're facing toward the long edge. The left heel is gonna root, the toes are gonna flex, and we're sinking into Skandasana, right side, low side lunge. Fingertips can stay down to the mat or bring your palms to prayer at heart center. Close your eyes. Feel your pelvis get heavy. And then from the deeply rooted feet and from the tailbone as your anchor, start to lift up and out of the earth, through your spine, growing like a flower away from the earth. Let your breath spread through any spots that are feeling sticky. Inhale. Exhale, see if you can sit all the way down to your sitting bones. So maybe you use your hands through this transition. And from here, take your right shoulder to the front of your knee, press it into it, press elbow to knee, and then sprinkle the right fingertips off your mat to the side. As you breathe in, lift your gaze up toward the left fingertips. Stay here, or when you exhale, you can go for a bind, circling the hands around to interlace at the back of the right glute. And keep your left toes actively flexed. Open the left shoulder and gaze toward the sky. And gently release the bind if you took it. See if, without using your hands, maybe you can press through the feet, pull the feet a little together, and come back up to that more active side lunge. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, revolve back to a lunge to face the top of the mat. Frame the right foot with your hands, and then press down, step to plank. Take a chaturanga, elbows lower toward the ribs, come down halfway. Untuck your toes. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, glide back, downward facing dog. Pull your belly to your spine. On your next inhalation, the right toes root and the left leg rises up, three-legged down dog. As you exhale, make a big external circle with the left leg. Lift your right heel and softly step the left foot all the way forward outside of the pinky finger. Come up to your fingertips and begin just making some sweet circles into the hips. In today's practice, try to focus more onto the subtle sensations that you can feel. It's not as much about super high intensity today. Reverse your circles. And we're just smoothing everything out. Press down into your right palm. Take a big inhale and stretch your left fingertips up toward the sky. Follow them with your gaze. Then elongate your spine so your tailbone goes a little back as the crown of your head stretches forward. Cactus your left elbow. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and then start to revolve your ribs and your heart all the way up toward the sky. Imagine that your heart is being pulled on a string, on a diagonal, forward and up. One more inhale. Exhale, circle your left palm back down to the mat. Flex your left toes away from the mat. Turn them in, and then roll onto your right heel as you flex right toes and sit to Skandasana, left side. Palms to prayer or fingertips stay down. Settle into your breath. Drop the breath all the way to the very low belly as you inhale. And as you exhale, allow the hips to soften. See if without using your hands, you can sit all the way down to the mat or use your hands if you need them. Elbow your left shoulder in front of your knee and then step your fingertips wide. Breathe in to reach your right arm all the way up toward the sky. Lengthen out of your spine. Stay, or as you exhale, spin both of your palms to face back and circle the arms around. See if you can grab for the right fingers with the left ones. And your shoulders are drawing together. Your heart is rising. Big breaths. Actively draw the left thigh in towards your outer ribs. Like you're giving yourself a hug. And then gently release. Circle your fingertips back forward. Dig down through right heel and left foot. Pull your feet together and see if you can lift your hips back away from the mat without using the hands. Inhale here. Exhale, pivot back to face the top of the mat. Plant your palms to frame the left foot. As softly as possible, press down, float your left toes all the way back to plank. Shift slightly forward, and then when you exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Untuck your toes. Inhale, toenails press down, thighs hover, heart stretches forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips all the way up and back. Press your palms down and forward. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll go again, adding on just a bit. As you inhale, reach your right leg high to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale, big, wide step forward, right foot outside of your pinky finger. Come on up to fingertips. Breathe in, just stretch your heart forward. Now, as you breathe out, roll to the knife edges of both of your feet. You can stay on fingertips, or you can drop the palms down to the mat if it's available. If you need a little more space into the right hip, crawl your toes away from the top of the mat. Now keep the palms down. Pull a little bit back on your hands to reach your heart forward. Then breathe in and stretch your right arm all the way up toward the sky. Claw into left fingertips. Breathe out and just stay. Press back through the left big toe mound. Both sets of toes All 10 toes are staying actively flexed. On your next inhale, carry your right arm all the way forward over your ear, creating a big stretch into the right side body. Press your hips up and away from the mat as much as possible, cinching the left waist. Inhale. Exhale, pivot to Skandasana, bending deeply into the right knee, flex your left toes, and sink low. Take an inhale here. This time as you exhale, press into the left foot, rise up into warrior two, arms widen to the sides, and then sink your hips low. Even distribution of weight between both of your feet. Anchor the knife edge of your right foot to the earth. Soften your gaze over the left fingertips, or maybe even close your eyes. Just feel. Or stay for 3 more rounds of breath. Hug your muscles to your bones. Stretch out past the edges of your fingertips. Inhale. As you exhale, flex the left foot, bend back into the right knee, turn the heel in, and sit low, Skandasana. Inhale here. Exhale, pivot back to face the top of the mat. Crawl your right foot wide and sink your back knee. You can untuck the toes, breathe in to pull your heart forward, then breathe out, bend your elbows deeply. 2 more just like this. Inhale, the arms press back up towards straight, extend out through the crown of your head. Exhale, bend your elbows as though you're gonna melt your heart all the way into the core of the earth. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows and then stay in your depth. But again, maybe not your deepest depth, especially not right away. The forearms can come down to the mat, or maybe forearms to blocks. Soften your shoulders. Relax the back of the neck. With every moment that you stay longer, feel your hips getting meltier. Press back up to your palms, and from here, take a breath in, and then when you breathe out, just shift your hips back, flex your right toes. The hips are stacked over the left knee. It's like a wide half splits. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, glide the pelvis back, flex the right toes actively. Just 1 more time like this. Inhale, and exhale. Press forward. Plant your palms, step your right foot back to plank, and take a vinyasa. Option to come down to your knees if you like. Take some of the pressure off. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next breath in, reach your left leg high, 3-legged down dog. And exhale, big wide circle. Step the left foot forward outside of pinky finger. Come on up to your fingertips. Take a breath in, pull your heart forward. As you breathe out, spin to the knife edges of both of your feet. So the left hip is stacking over the right, but for a moment, try to keep your shoulders squaring forward to the top of the mat. Pull your feet together, pull back on your fingertips, and stretch your heart forward. And then as you exhale, you can root the right palm flat to the mat. Inhale to sweep your left fingertips all the way up high to the sky, horizon lunge. Press really firmly into right hand and knife edge of right foot so that you can lift your hips up and away from the mat. There's a lightness, there's a buoyancy. The more you press, the lighter you get. Take an inhale and stretch the left arm all the way forward over your ear. 1 more reach, 1 more little sip of air, and then exhale. Pivot all the way to Skandasana. So spin on your feet, left foot roots, right toes flex, and then bend deeply into the left leg. Inhale. Exhale, settle your pelvis down. On your next inhale, press through your feet, squeeze your inner thighs, launch forward, warrior two to the back of the mat. The right knee bends, left foot anchors. Feel all of your toes grip the earth. Then lift up through the arches of the feet to energize. Feel the rebounding effect of that energy rising through the trunk, all the way through the torso and out past your fingertips. 3 breaths here, really smooth, really deep. Inhale. Exhale, flex your right foot, dig your heel down, spin your left heel in, and then sit your hips low. Back to Skandasana, to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, pivot forward, wide lunge. Left foot is gonna crawl to the outer edge of the mat. You can sink your back knee and untuck your toes. Inhale, reach your heart forward, pull back on the left heel and forward on the right knee. So you're driving your legs a bit together. Then exhale, bend your elbows deeply and bow your chest toward the earth. 2 more like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And this time stay low. Maybe the forearms come down to the mat, but there's no rush to get there. And we're peeling away 1 layer at a time. And we want to avoid skipping any steps along the way. Soften the jaw, unclench your teeth. Notice if you're wrinkling the forehead. Last breath here, no force, just surrender. Press down, rise up to your palms. Inhale here, reach your heart forward. Exhale, flex your left toes, shift your hips back to stack over the right knee. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, glide it back. Let this feel really good. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Step forward, plant your palms, lift your back knee. The left foot floats back to high plank. Shift forward and lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips all the way up and back. In through your nose. Exhale through the nose or the mouth, whatever you need. Breathe in, look forward. Breathe out and step slowly to the top of the mat. 1 little baby step, 1 foot at a time. Draw the feet to parallel and then bend your knees. Relax your torso down over your thighs. Grab for opposite elbows. Sway gently left and then right. Press into your feet, hug your belly button to your spine. This time as you sway left, keep rolling in that direction. We're gonna rise all the way up to stand. Lift up nice and tall through your spine, gaze up overhead. Then keep revolving over toward the right side of the mat, little side body stretch, and then fold all the way back in. 1 more circle in that direction, going up to the left, opening through the right side body. You can pull a bit on the right elbow with the left hand, and then all the way up to stand, lift the gaze, and roll over to the right. Finally, back down to the mat. Core stays connected and engaged. Let's make some circles the other way. So starting to the right, rise up to stand. Keep a little micro bend in your knees and keep digging your toes down. Then roll to the left and back around forward. 1 more time this way. And once you come back to your forward fold, root your fingertips. Take a breath in, halfway lift. Breath out just to fold. Separate your feet even wider so that they come off of your mat, somewhere between a forward fold and a wide-legged fold hybrid. Bend deeply into the right knee, drop your chest down, and then bend deeply into the left knee. Bend into the right knee. This time, crawl your fingertips forward and to the left. So coming to that top left corner of your mat, and breathe between all your ribs on the right side body. You can play with the stance. You can adjust the width so that you're a little bit wider or maybe a little more narrow, depending on how this is feeling for you. Back to neutral, back to center. Then bend the left knee. Crawl your fingertips to the top right corner of the mat. Breathe, big full breaths. Straighten the left leg, walk your palms back beneath your face. Take a breath into halfway lift. And as you exhale, just fold. Heel toe your feet back to parallel at the top of the mat. Then bend your knees, plant your palms, and just step back to a downward facing dog. If you really want a vinyasa, you're welcome to take one. In downward facing dog, stretch hands and feet into the earth. Stretch your tailbone toward the sky. Inhale, right leg rises, three-legged down dog. As you exhale, hug your right knee to your right tricep. Press the ground away from you, dome between your shoulders. Then keep the shin floating and just hover it to 45 degrees at the top of the mat. Slowly lower the toes, the top of the foot, the shin, and the knee. Crawl your left toes back, aligning for half pigeon. Breathe in, lift your heart. The fingertips can pull in front of the shin, maybe beside you. Maybe take your hands to your hips. Feel the right knee and the left knee pulling toward each other. If you notice that the front hip is popping away from the mat significantly, try sliding a block or a pillow, something beneath your hip to support. And once you've found length and square hips, just begin to sweetly fold forward. Maybe the forearms come down to the mat. If you're able, relax your forehead down to your thumbs. Simmer into all your sensations. Half pigeon is such a great pose to practice this simmer. Try to feel for all of the subtle opening. Relaxing your face one layer at a time. Relax the palms of your hands and your fingers. And then start to notice that the more consciously you soften, the more that this softening becomes contagious. And your whole body starts to melt all as one. Press back up to your fingertips. Walk them in. Plant your palms, tuck your back toes, and glide into a downward facing dog. The right leg steps all the way back. Inhale, left leg rises, three-legged down dog. Exhale, lift your right heel, hug your left knee all the way through to your tricep. Then spin your shin to be 45-ish degrees toward the top of the mat. First the toenails land, then the top of the foot, then the shin, then the knee. Right foot crawls back. Walk your fingertips in, lengthen your spine. Pull the left knee and the right knee a little together to create this buoyant lift up and out of your torso. And then when you're ready, find any props that you need and fold into half pigeon. Set yourself up to be comfortable for about 5 rounds of breath here. Close your eyes and go deeply into your inner sensations. And you can imagine yourself like riding in a submarine, going through your own body. paint with long brush strokes of breath. Press back up to your palms. Walk the fingertips in. Plant your hands, tuck your back toes, lift your knee, and then slowly step back to downward facing dog. And let both of your knees sink to the mat. Knees wide, toes together, and then shift your hips back to child's pose. Walk your fingertips all the way forward, and you can either relax your forehead or your chest and your chin to the mat. Imagine with every inhale that your spine is growing longer. And with every exhale, try to feel as though somebody is pressing gently onto your very low back, massaging your sacrum, and helping the hips to root closer toward the heels. And just simmer right here into everything you're feeling. Walk your fingertips all the way in towards your torso. Come on down to a seat. And we'll take a few rounds of pranayama to close the practice today. So find a comfortable space for you. You can elevate the hips onto a block or the pillow if that feels good. Bring the thumbs and the index fingers together to touch, just the tips, and relax your other 3 fingers. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Close your eyes. Inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top of the breath. Lift your pelvic floor. Tuck your chin toward your chest. Exhale through your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. At the bottom of the breath, pause. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain the breath, lift the pelvic floor, tuck the chin, soften the shoulders. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold before your next inhalation. Breathe in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, relax. Exhale through your nose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom of the breath, feeling into that space before the next inhale begins. In through the nose for a count of 4. Lift the pelvic floor, tuck the chin, pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, relax. Inhale, 4. Retain, relax. Exhale, 4. Hold. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Retain. Lift the pelvic floor, tuck the chin. Exhale. Retain the breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause at the bottom. Big inhale through your nose. Big exhale. Blink your eyes open. And from here, you're welcome to lie down into a shavasana and take rest and simmer there as long as you have time for, just spreading your body out, taking up a lot of space. Or you're welcome to move into a seated meditation just to really feel all of the effects of your practice or anything else that feels good. As always, thank you so much for sharing your space and your time and your movement practice with me today. I'm so grateful for all of you. And if you're not already, you can subscribe to my channel down below. That really helps to support me. I hope you're doing well and have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.